Okay, we're here. That was awkward. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It says live video is starting, so we'll give everybody a second to jump back in. We thought we were going to be real smooth and have like a countdown right into the thing, and it did not work. All right, we are live. Here we go. Hello and welcome. Thanks everybody for tuning in. So today, this is our live Q&A for Vita Prep. This is the first one we've done, so we're very excited. Just want to start off by sharing a little bit about Vita Prep and what we're doing this August. We'll have some time for Q&A at the end, but we wanted to kind of open up with just some information to let everybody know about Vita Prep. So the most important thing, really, Vita Prep is our mission is to give kids the skills to lead a fulfilling life. That's really our passion and what we think education should be doing. And fulfilling means something different for every kid. So some kids, that's going to be being a nuclear physicist, and that's what's going to give them fulfillment. Some other kids, that might be something totally different and off the wall. So we want to be able to cater to each kid individually and give them the individual skills that they need to lead a fulfilling life.
In addition to that, we want to expose them to different jobs in the community or even in the area of interest that they have. So if they like nuclear physics but don't exactly want to work directly in that department, there are other things that they can do with that. Our son Henry loves cheetahs and thinks he wants to be a future zoologist, but if he starts down that path and decides that maybe cheetahs aren't the thing for him, there are other things, but he likes being at the zoo, there are other things that he can do with the zoo that would still help him build his fulfilling life.
Exactly. So really, our educational philosophy, it sort of steals a little bit from here, a little bit from there. We sort of take the best parts of like Montessori, Acton Academy out in Texas. We think they do an amazing job. And their book is Courage to Grow by Laura Sandiford. Really great book. Unschooling Rules by Clark Aldridge is another book that was very influential.
Mm-hmm.
And then One World Schoolhouse by Sal Khan from Khan Academy. So we kind of took little bits of all of those different philosophies and stuck them in our blender of our brains and came out with Vita Prep, which we feel like is a totally new look at education. We're sort of going back to first principles and asking the question of like, what do kids really need from education, and starting there rather than saying like, well, we have to do a test every week, so then what do we test them on? We sort of started over from the foundation and rebuilt it from the ground up. So we're really excited about what we've put together. We think the kids are going to love it. All of the models that I just mentioned that we were sort of based on have great success rates with their kids. And, Acton Academy, for example, out in Texas, who we're very closely modeled after, they show, 3 to 4 years or 2 years of growth per year that the kids are in school. So two age levels of growth, basically. So we're really excited about the not just the educational component of it, but also the engagement with the kids. We think they're going to have a really great time. Um, you want to talk about kind of a little bit about the curriculum and learning paths? If you guys have questions, by the way, throw them in the comments. We're going to be doing Q&A here in just a minute.
So we will be using Khan Academy for math and reading, as well as holding book studies to help facilitate a love of reading and learning. What Khan Academy does is they present videos in an engaging way, and then the kids can follow their mastery path as quickly or as slowly as they need and want. And once they are done with one learning path, maybe say they finish fourth grade math for the entire year, they can still move on and do fifth grade math. It's not you can only do fourth grade while you're in fourth grade. It's a learn as you need to, as fast or as slow as you need to. And I'm super excited to start book studies and hold book clubs and teach kids how to do research for our research-based projects in the classroom.
Yeah, and the big difference I think with what we're going to do versus like a traditional education model, in a regular classroom, the class has to move on. So if a student has mastered that skill in a day, or they still probably need 2 more weeks on a certain skill, the class has to move on because it's Friday. We had the unit tests, and now next week we have something else to do. And so it really doesn't give the students the opportunity to master every skill. That we sort of have to move at this aggregate pace, which you know we found in our research, and Kaylee knows from her experience the last 10 years in the classroom, that's not always what's best for every kid, and most kids are underserved by that kind of model. So in the model we've developed, the kids move at their individual pace. They're guided still by a teacher in the classroom who's going to work with them on learning strategies and that kind of thing. But if they've mastered multiplication in 2 days and they want to move on, like Khan allows them to do that, and we're not going to slow them down so that everybody else can move at the same pace. So it's a really fascinating thing that we're able to do with all of the new technology that's now available, and we're really excited about bringing that to the kids. So kind of our higher level educational philosophy, we really believe that school's purpose is to give kids the skills to live a fulfilling life. That also means preparing them for the workforce. If that's, everybody needs to work or probably will work. We need to prepare them for the workforce of 10 to 15 years from now, when they'll be entering the workforce, rather than preparing them for the workforce of 1994, where where kind of current education is preparing them right now. Like current education, sometimes they're one-to-one on computers, but sometimes they have to share. I don't know of a single office in any major company where you have to share a computer with one of your coworkers. I mean, that's kind of a silly thing to even think about. So education needs to be 10 to 12 years ahead of where the workforce is now, not behind. So we're looking at the most cutting edge companies. What are they doing? In 10 to 12 years, it's reasonable to say whatever the most cutting edge companies are doing, that's what everybody will be doing in about 10 years. So we're looking at, Google, Tesla, Facebook, those kind of companies, and saying, how do they structure their workforce? How do they structure their work? None of those companies ring a bell to tell you when to go to lunch. None of those companies make you raise your hand and ask your supervisor to go to the bathroom. That's just absurd to think about. And so we want to model that in our classroom. We should be preparing the kids to work in that kind of environment where you may not even have a desk and you just have your computer and go. That's how some of these workforces are now, and we think, as we look ahead, we're always looking at what is it going to be like 10 years from now. So that's something we're really focused on, and we want to prepare the kids as they're coming up to be able to have those time management skills, the financial skills to survive as an adult, the things that you need to function in society and be a worker and be an employee and be a person. We want to give them those skills so that they're not coming out of high school and they're like, well, I don't know how to pay taxes. I don't know how to buy a car or go, grocery shopping even, some of them. We want to make sure they have all of those skills as they're coming out. So we have a few upcoming events I wanted to let everyone know about, and then we'll jump into some Q&A. On Thursday next week, we have a parent meeting. If you are a parent who's already applied and you are interested in coming to Vita Prep, our meeting is next Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll have other ones throughout the summer, but next Thursday at 6 is the first one. If you'd like to join us, we have a very fun and engaging activity for the kids planned, and we're going to be able to be there with you in person. You'll get to see the room. You'll get to meet us in person, and we'll be able to answer all your questions. We'll go more in depth with what does it take to be a Vita family. And so we'll be doing all of that next Thursday at 6 o'clock. So please feel free to join us. And then Saturday, June 8th, from 4 to 8, we have our first block party. So we're going to be at St. Patrick's Anglican Church on Curtis Boulevard in Port St. John, and we'll be tearing the house down. We've got some food trucks lined up. We've got a couple of inflatables lined up to be there, and we're going to have a great time. So that's open to the public. Anybody can come. So invite your friends and neighbors, and even if you're not ever coming to Vita Prep, you can still come out and enjoy. So we look forward to seeing you at those events. So we can jump into some Q&A. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them up in the comments, and we will get you answers as we go. One question that we've gotten from a few people is, what about, like, what's the whole scholarship thing? So let's talk about that a little bit. The scholarship is from the Florida government basically has a bill where it allows you to take your tax dollars with your kid. So your kid gets a certain amount of tax dollars to be a part of the public education system. If you decide to go somewhere else, your tax dollars will follow your kid to wherever they're going. Now you have to be able to approve a provider, which we're working on our approvals for right now, and there's some other criteria you have to meet to receive those funds. But once you have met those criteria, the state will pay for your kid's private education, or at least part of it. So we've set our pricing in a way where every family, it's about $100 a kid to enroll at Vita Prep is like your actual take-home cost. The rest of that would be covered by the Florida scholarship. The scholarship you want to do is through Step Up, is the company. It's Step Up for students, and the scholarship is called the FTCEO. Is the scholarship you want to be on. There's another one called the FTC PEP, the PEP. That one is not the one you want. That is for homeschool families. So just make sure when you're doing your application on Step Up, make sure you get that right. If you're coming to the parent meeting, we'll have all that for you and like what you need to have and all of that. So we have more answers for that as well. But we already did our son Henry's application, and that was already submitted and approved. So it's a pretty easy process. It took me about 10 minutes. And you can go ahead and do that, even though we're not set up yet as a provider. We're working on our paperwork and stuff. We're waiting on some permits from the county before we can submit all of that. You can go ahead and apply for the scholarship all the same, and then we'll get an award ID when we actually go to enrollment, and when we're like approved and everything's online. We'll just need that student ID from you, and then that's how we set you up in our system. Do you want to talk a little bit about like the special needs and learning disabilities, if anybody has those and they want to come to Vita, like how would we handle that?
I have been a special education teacher for the last 10 years, so I have a great deal of background in working with students with learning disabilities. There are lots of things. I think Vita Prep is really a good school for students with learning disabilities because we don't move at a regimented pace. So in the classroom, if a student really struggles with reading but excels in math, we're not designed for them to keep struggling in reading because the class has to move on. They get to move at their own pace until they've mastered the skill that they are working on. And sometimes that little bit of mastery is really all it takes for them to become more successful in reading and feel more confident in themselves. And getting them to love reading and math and seeing how it plays into real life with our project-based learning will actually help them become better students and be more engaged in their academics.
Yeah, we think there's some that will work really well with our model, right? Like
Absolutely.
so ADHD. If your student is one with ADHD like ours and they struggle to sit still in a classroom all day, this model really works well for that because we have all flexible seating. If they want to stand up and learn or lay down and learn or go on a hammock and learn, like go outside and learn, they can do that. We give them that freedom. They're obviously still supervised, but we give them the freedom to learn how they want to learn. So students with ADHD, students who are gifted, especially, we were both gifted kids coming through elementary and middle school. So it's frustrating as a kid to have to sit and wait for everyone else to do extra practice when you've already mastered a skill, and maybe it's something you've mastered months ago or years ago. But the class has to learn it. So our model is really set up well for that, to allow for that those kind of differences. So we can talk a little bit about expansion. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll get them answered for you. So our current enrollment goal is 30 students. We would like to have 2 teachers, 30 students. It'll be Kaylee and another teacher, and 30 students. That's our goal for this year. For the future years, we do plan to grow more. So we do plan to add additional classes. We are we're seeing a huge demand in Brevard County for alternative schools. We think we fit that model really well. So we are really excited about our future growth prospects. I think every private school that I know of currently is on a wait list. So we hope to join them. I mean, we'd be great this year, but we do hope to join them in the future years as we continue to grow and expand. So.
Do you want to talk about the rest weeks and their benefits?
Sure. Yeah. So our schedule is laid out a little bit differently. We don't follow the traditional public school schedule. So our schedule is laid out in a group of sessions. So there's 6 sessions, 3 in the first semester, 3 in the second. Each session is between like 4 and 6 weeks. Our calendar is on the website. So if you head to the website, the link should be pinned there. Just go to calendar and you'll see the whole calendar there. But our sessions are, each session answers a big question. So like for our first question, the first session, we're building a tribe. So we're sort of learning how do you be a community? How do you build a society? And so each session will also come with a class project that the class works on all together. This is a kindergarten through 6th grade classroom, all mixed age. So, the older kids are helping the younger kids. The younger kids will have a different perspective. They all work together to work on this project. The first project we're doing is about creating a Martian colony. So the class will be tasked with creating a Martian colony, and they have to make all the decisions about how does this colony operate? What are the laws? What kind of government should it have? Big questions. And we'll do that through Socratic dialogue, through lots of research as a group and individually, and they'll be able to answer those questions, and then they have to abide by whatever their answers were. So I'm not going to give too much away because we do want some of it to be a little bit of a surprise, but the first day we're going to talk about food and should our colonists be allowed to just access the food stores whenever they feel like it, or should we put certain controls in place, and what are those? Whatever controls they put in place, they then have to abide by in the classroom. So if they say, no, it's free reign all the time, then they get free snacks anytime they want, and the snacks are always available. But if they say, no, we should only give a very certain amount to each person, then that'll be how we distribute our snacks as well. So they'll still have their lunch that they bring with them, and we're not going to mess with that, but the snack distribution will be up to them on how that works. So we're really excited about them seeing the consequences of their actions, positive and negative. And then we're going to throw them a few curveballs, of course, along the way to challenge them. And so we're excited about that. So that's kind of what a session is. So each session contains a number of weeks. At the end of each session, there's some kind of an exhibition. So the first session, we have a big parent banquet where we're going to have the parents come in, and they're actually going to act as our Martian colonists that we've never met before, but we're going to bring them in, and they each have their representative. So we're going to have a great time that night and have a banquet. We're going to feed everybody, and we'll have some special surprises for that as well, that we're excited about. And then at the end of each session, after the exhibition, we do what's called a rest week. So the following week, which coincides with Labor Day, Labor Day week is what we call a rest week. So we are still at the school. Monday will be off because it's Labor Day, but Tuesday through Friday, we're still at the school. The school is open. We will operate as normal. The exception is the kids do not have any assignments due. There's no projects active. Their expectation is that they focus on mental and emotional health, that they reflect on what they've learned from session one, and then get their minds ready for session two. So it's kind of that down break, that downshift in between sessions to give them a chance to, reset and recalibrate and then get ready for the next session. One thing we've noticed in schools is like everything is so fast, and it's just like one thing right after the other. You take a test and you're right on to the next thing. And a lot of times the kids don't really have a chance to absorb, like, what did I really learn about? How's this applicable to my life? So that's what we're doing during rest weeks. We're going to do a lot of reading. We're going to do some yoga. We're going to do a lot of other fun activities. But that week is really a chance for them to sort of reset and then get ready for the next session. So we have those first 3 sessions in the beginning of the year. We have a 3-week Christmas break. Then we're back. We have 3 more sessions in the second half of the year. And then session 7 is actually our bonus session. So that happens during the month of June. We do not count session 7 towards our educational days. So technically, per the state, you are completed once you've completed session 6. But we are still here for session 7. And session 7 is all about giving back to the community. So every day we'll have some kind of community engagement, community partnership project that we're working on. Whether that be with an organization like what's the organization?
The Children's Hunger Project.
You want to tell them a little about
So we would like to partner with the Children's Hunger Project in Cocoa Village, where they stock backpacks with non-perishable foods for children to use and take home over the summer for those kids who don't have a lot of food or rely on the food pantries that some schools or churches have. And that we think that would be a really great way for the kids to learn about helping others in their community and get some volunteer hours in.
So we're really excited about session 7. There's no extra charge for that. So I know a lot of places, like, they'll charge extra for like the before and after care. They'll charge extra for summer camps and stuff. This is all included in your tuition. So we're trying to do as much as we can to provide a great experience for families. And also, we understand that families are on a budget. We are also on a budget. Not everybody has a ton of money to throw at education. So we're trying to make it affordable and still enriching for the kids. Do you want to talk about the daily schedule? Kind of how that looks every day?
Drop-off will start at 7:30, and the actual learning session will begin at 8:45. That 1 hour, 1.5 hours will be individual work time or free play in the classroom with an adult supervising. After everyone arrives at 8:45, we'll start our Socratic discussions. That takes between 30 and 45 minutes, and after Socratic discussion will be our core skills time, which will be our Khan Academy or our book studies, or if you need any extra help there, I'll be there to help you. After 2 hours of core skills, we will go outside for outdoor playtime. After that, we will have our lunch, and then the students will be expected to clean up and help clean up any messes that were made during lunchtime. After lunch, we have our project time, where the group works together on the project of the session. And then sometimes, but not always, we will have a closing Socratic discussion. We'll either continue where we left off in the morning, because they are timed. We do have to keep to our strict time for the Socratic discussions. Or we found a new question that we now need a new answer to. And then after our Socratic discussion is over at 3 o'clock, pickup begins. And then from 3 to 4:30 p.m., it's free play. And those extra hours are included in tuition.
All right, awesome. Well, like I said, we have a couple of events. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. We'll get those answered. But just as we're wrapping up, we have a couple of events coming up. We have a parent meeting this coming Thursday So if you're interested in that, what's the date on that? Let me just check.
The
Is that
30th.
the 30th? Okay. The 30th at 6 p.m. The event's on our Facebook page, so just head over there, check out that event. That's for any prospective parents. So if you're saying, hey, Vita sounds interesting, I think I want to send my kid here, feel free to come to that event. If you want to fill out an application also, we don't charge an application fee or anything. You can just fill that out. It's also on our website under apply. That way we have your info and like we can send you the direct email about the event. But we have some fun stuff planned for the kids, for the prospective Vita Prep students. And then the parents, you guys will get the opportunity to meet us and talk with us a little bit, and we'll give you some more information about how to enroll and kind of the next steps. The parent meetings are part of our enrollment process, so we do require that as part of that process. We'll have other ones throughout the summer, so if you can't make this one, that's okay. We'll have other ones and we'll post those out once we have the dates firmed up. But that is part of our enrollment process, so we can meet you, you can meet us, and we can make sure it's a good fit. And then on June 8th from 4 to 8, we have our community event. It's our summer kickoff party. It'll be there at St. Patrick's Anglican Church. We've got some inflatables, some food trucks, and a lot of fun for the whole family. It is open to the public as well, so you don't have to be a prospective Vita student or family to attend. Anybody can come. So bring your friends, bring your family, bring everyone you can think of. We would love to pack the place out. And we'll be there handing out business cards and talking to people as well, and getting to know you guys. So we're looking forward to seeing you all at those events. And thank you all so much for attending this one. So we're going to wrap that up here. But thank you. And it was hopefully you guys got some great information. And we look forward to seeing you at one of our in-person events soon.